Very good afternoon, dear viewers. Welcome to the ATA YouTube channel. Today, Tuesday, on a sunny day, the 6th of October 2025, here at Adiz Sports Club, Chireka Trading Center in Kampala, the capital city of the East African nation of Uganda. These 3 days, including yesterday and tomorrow, we're having what is the third edition of the ATA Uganda Super 8-man competition. Once again, Adiz hosting, as much as they hosted the first two editions of the event, which were only then the first edition in the men's category, the second edition having men and ladies. First edition was won by Caesar Chandiga with victory over Lokoma Hazard. Second edition was won by the same player, defeating the same player in the final. The ladies edition, at the first time of asking, was won by Rashid. This one is the third edition. Difference is that they are playing American 8-ball, call them ultimate pool rules. The race for the men is 8 in not more than 1 hour and 20 minutes. This match is between Ssejjemba on table right now, taking on Rashid Wagaba, with Ibra taking a 1-frame lead, needing 7. Dog City, as Rashid Wagaba is nicknamed, needing 8 out of the remaining 14 frames. My name is Peter Chobe. Umpire of the match is Farida. Naturally, they will not be in our camera view, save for the time that the frames are done and some racking has to be done. Dog City did come on the verge of a walkover countdown starting against him. And normally when players come late, they have a lot of panic in them. It's not easy starting well after coming late. I do remember Creme de la Creme 16-man comp that was organized at Dice Lounge early last year. It's the only time I have seen Ibra lose by 11 frames to 1 in the rest of 11 against Hazard because he was late. I also saw him, Ibra, in the early round defeating Computer by 9 frames to 1. It is not easy performing, especially when you are coming under pressure of a clock ticking against you. And that could be reminiscent even in this ongoing match, because seemingly Ibra is on course to win a second frame out of 2. A match between two players who are good friends in real life, both of them having started out their competitive career at the same club. That was Capito Knight in the year that was 2017, winning the League of the Pro Session of Uganda that year. There was a ball falling without being hit. It's called a falling ball. The umpire will always restore original position, and the same player continues in play. And that same player is Ibra. That same player has not played the cue ball to a position favorable for him, enough for him to put black to the center pocket. Having some kind of trouble now. Most likely shot his bank off the cushion at the top, trying to, goes for the sharp cut to the center pocket and gets it wrong, and a grand chance for Dog City at least to play again in this frame. We are playing on an original standard blackboard table. These tables are in wide availability by the ATA, but the one on which this match is the only one that is in active service in Uganda. You can have yourself 1 or 2 or 3 or 10 of them, such that you are one of those table owners who do own a world-class table. And the same exact table on which the European and American Ultimate Pool Championships are held nowadays. A table goes for $3,000 US. Inbox the ATA on their socials. But if you are buying in bulk, if you're buying 1 2, 3, 4, 5, you can have a discount depending on how many you're buying, up to $2,500 per table. A big discount of $500 from each table board. Now Dog City going for clearance number 1 out of 2 for himself. He has to put yellow to the corner pocket top left and drawing the cue ball rightwards, moving close to the black. Cue ball lost a little bit of direction. If he is to imagine putting black by rail drive, either rail drive or bank shot, both shots tempting, seems to be going for rail drive. He has not been anywhere close to perfection, but will not be so disappointed in his cue ball because it remained at the top end of the table while black is at the bottom end of the table. Not easy for Ibra to put. Nonetheless, he's one of those players whom you would fancy putting a ball even with this kind of difficulty. There he goes, and there he puts. Cue ball is safe. Ibra 2 and Dog City 0. The respective winners qualify for the winners bracket semi-finals. 2 players so far are already there. That is Hazard, who did have an 8-5 victory over Ibrahim Kayanja. Then the biggest humiliation so far of the competition has been by Ian Kazwe defeating Simon Wara the computer by 8 frames to 0. The losers will drop to the losers bracket where they will still have a fighting chance, but taking the longer route to try and make the final, which shall be played between the winner of the winners bracket and the winner of the losers bracket. Here comes Dog City. It has to be 4 balls crossing the imaginary center of the table. Unfortunately, the wrong ball is potted. He has scratched on the break. In this case, the incoming player has 1 visit but can place the cue ball anywhere on the bed of the table. He can also play red into the yellow. He can also play yellow into the red. In that case, he would have closed the table as long as he puts playing the color that he would have struck first. He has gone for the yellows, of course, for the reason that black is packed at the corner pocket, having 2 reds right behind. Those reds become dead balls. A maximum of 40 seconds is the amount of time to take in between shots. But with 15 minutes left on the clock, the time between shots is halved to 20 seconds per shot. Many fans do have judgment of Ibra as a slow player. I want to think they are wrong. These 2 players did have a money match sometime last year at Amigos in Kampala City, with Dog City conditioning Ibra to having a stopwatch, which umpire Henry Joko did apply throughout. The maximum amount of time permitted per shot was 45 seconds. None of the players committed a time foul. The match was won by Ibra and by 21 frames, I think, to 14. Now he's on the verge of winning a 3rd in a row and winning a 3rd by break and finish. The rest is a formality. Ibra 3 and Rashid 0. Caesar and Kasozi will seal off the last action of the day in the first life of these players. Thereafter, the losers category will start immediately with the players in the loser side of the draw trying to qualify into the latter rounds of the competition from the loser side. It is the top 4 guaranteed of cash prizes of the competition where they have paid 0 to register. If you're just joining the stream, Ssejjemba, nicknamed the Killer, is now enjoying a 3-frame lead to nil against Rashid Wagaba, nicknamed Dog City, in the third match of the day, which is the first round of the first life, which is pretty much the winners bracket in this ongoing Super 8-man comp of the ATA in Uganda tournament that has Caesar Chandiga as defending champion, is in its first life. There is one more match that will be happening in this life between Joseph Kasozi and Caesar Chandiga. After then, we shall have the losers bracket starting immediately after. By the rules, ultimate rules, it is 40 seconds maximum amount of time allocated per shot in this competition, which is pretty much a preparatory tournament for the Ugandan team about to participate in the African Ultimate Pool Championships happening in Mbombela, Mpumalanga province in South Africa, starting next Monday. Here comes Dog City. He got a very good chance to win the second frame, which he since then misused. Third frame was won by Ibra by break and finish. Dog City has to start the comeback, otherwise the lead for the little magician in Ibra should not be allowed to grow so big. If it grows big, he can just make himself unplayable. Cue ball has to be played into another yellow once he pots yellow, which he does. Going for a clearance on a world-class table. A very neat venue, very organized venue. Playing on world-class facilities. But it is Ibra who is so far playing a world-class pool for Dog City. Not really. There is one extension permitted for each of the players in each frame. Extension happens when the player's time is running out to take the shot. They may be granted 10 more seconds. That can only happen once for each player in each frame. And Dog City has not gotten the extension play out in his favor because he missed the resulting shot. And the two reds close to each other near the corner pocket, bottom left. If they can be potted, I think Ibra will be good to go for another frame. He's seemingly playing safety. I can't say the shot will be safe enough. He should have used very little power. And I think more certain than not, Ibra is losing the ongoing frame. Joseph Kasozi is already at the venue. Caesar Chandigarh, not yet. In the ladies category, Zaimat and Jacinta survive in the losers bracket. Rashida and Rukia in the winners bracket. Dog City fighting back against Ibra and wins his first frame of the match. It is now 3 frames to 1. Ibra still in the lead with a little under 1 hour to go. There is a pending response to Apple by Apple. One frame has been won by Ibra by Apple. Dog City gets to win a frame by Apple. He's pulling back the strings. He's won 2 frames in a row. He's only 3-2 down now. He seems he has eventually settled into his game. Now, like the saying goes, let them play. Once these guys get to accustom themselves to a table like this one and start producing this number of single visit clearances, they can become anything in the game. Yes, they can. No shade of doubt in the amount of talent in their pairs of hands. Frame number 6, Ibra on the break, getting to sink 1 red in, leaving an open table. It has to be either 4 balls crossing the imaginary center of the table, or if no ball is potted. That is, if no ball is potted. Of course, more than a 4 have crossed and a ball has been potted. And Ibra gets to close the table playing the reds. Of course, he too trying to do exactly what Dog City did in the frame last by winning a frame by break and finish. He has one relatively bad ball, and the relativity is only relative. It's the ball he's playing. Actually, it is portable to the center pocket. Yes, it has been sunk, and Dog City will be knowing that he will most likely be routed to the seat of his on the right, perhaps till the end of this frame. He doesn't have as much time as he usually does, Ibra, to do table inspection. The amount of time allocated per shot is 40 seconds. Normally, in ordinary black ball rules, it is 60. This time they have to execute shots in 20 seconds less, and that is only before the remaining time in the match drops to 15 minutes. Once it does, they will be having 20 seconds in which to execute each shot. Here he is. He really does mean to have a beautiful playing pattern. Hasn't been having a good year by his standard whatsoever. At his best, we saw him win a monthly cup at the Ultimate Pool Arena in Tinder. The only time that he has defeated Caesar this year, he has lost 2 comps thereafter to the same player, both being played on set system, losing to the same player in deciding sets and deciding frames. He also has another comp that was organized at Eternal Pool Arena to show this year, besides the team exploits where he won the Ugandan League as well as the Q Masters International Championship. In this match, he has gotten pot black for the second time by break and finish, and 4th overall. It is now Ibra 4 and Dog City 2. One of those few times in this match that a player does get to miss a ball even with all those options available. That was the clock ticking against Ibra. Had he not played before the elapse of those remaining 5 seconds, it would have been a time foul, which tantamounts to a loss of turn. In these rules, a loss of turn is simply where most of the times the player plays their own curve balls, leaving the cue ball on the table, but perhaps not having a ball reach the cushion or putting the opponent's ball instead. While for a standard foul, perhaps with a cue ball potted, perhaps with such fouls as having their clothing kissing the balls as they play, such fouls are standard fouls, tantamounting to the incoming player lifting the cue ball with one visit but placing it anywhere on the bed of the table. Now there is a pending reverse dish from Ibra. He could perhaps want to put both reds to the corner pocket bottom left. Better still, put one of the reds to that same corner pocket and another to say another pocket perhaps the center pocket at the top where he's having his fans. Now going for backspin, wants to put both reds to the same corner pocket, and yes, black instead to the center pocket at the bottom. As long as he controls the cue ball well, a little bit of top spin, avoiding contact between white and yellow. A shot well played, better still, a well executed pattern from the killer, who is just about to put black now to the center pocket at the top to increase his lead, courtesy of a reverse dish. It is Ibra 5 and Dog City 2, with Ibra now needing 3, Dog City needing the whole of 8. Just under 50 minutes to go. I just love that this match is now being played at a top quality standard. So many single visit clearances happening, and yet only 7 frames have been played. Most of them have been won by the player who doesn't permit the opponent even to step on the table during the course of the frame. This one is another of them. Swiftly and sweetly finished by the Dog in the City, and gets to pull one back again. Hopefully white is safe. That was close, but safe. Ibra 5, Dog City now 3. There is plan for these players to have one more comp after this one before the Ultimate Pool Championships should be happening this coming Thursday, which will be Uganda's Independence Day, if it does happen. It can mean to be scary for any of the players if they break dry. Remember, it has to be either a ball potted on the break for the break to be legal, or 4 balls crossing the imaginary center of the table, which will be the top end of the table. A ball that is right in the middle is considered to have crossed. Now Ibra is intending to go past the 5 frame mark Adi's sport has not been a good hunting ground for Ibra. He has participated in a few comps here. Most of them, he doesn't even reach the prize bracket. Perhaps his best day here is where he narrowly, and I will say narrowly, defeated Malvan Mokonza, the Zimbabwean star player, in a race to 21 by 21 frames to 20. That was only a day before Malvan had, in a post-match interview, christened Ibra as the small guy who plays like he doesn't want to play. He's now playing like he really wants to play Ibra. He will perhaps play the yellow ball that is in between the 3 to the center pocket at the top. White will naturally be played into the yellow that is leftwards of the 3 if he were to play that shot. Perhaps white ball moving the yellow on the left closer to the corner pocket top left, just like that. We now have to put that same ball to that same corner pocket top left, spinning the cue ball just a little backwards. I believe he'll want to put the last yellow to the center pocket at the bottom where he's having his hands. A little back spin, done little well, and having very good power balance, as well as cue ball positioning. Straight line between cue ball and yellow and the center pocket. However, it's a little bit tricky for him finding white for the red. Perhaps he has to play now top spin, white ball following the yellow, such that he puts black to the corner pocket top left. Goes for the back spin. Even better for the first time in the match. We are hearing a round of applause, but not the first time that we are seeing a frame being won by break and finish. Another from the killer, another by Apple, another by single visit clearance. Perhaps the best of them all apples we have witnessed in the match. Ibra now 6 and Dog City 2. Ibra will be coming in to break a frame for the 5th time in the match. For 5 of them, 3 have ended in him winning by Apple. Dog City doesn't believe what is hitting him. He's out of sorts. He's just inspecting and making sure that Ibra hasn't put the ball. He knows, Dog City, that the easier way to win a frame in this match is by break and finish. It is the reason why Ibra is leading. He has scored 3 apples, Ibra, and is leading against Dog City by 3 frames. That is how crucial it can be to be able to win by apple. The dog in the city is going for the yellows. In the ultimate rules, players do not have opportunity to do what we call the I like calling it the negative break that sometimes they do in blackball when they don't like a big split of the balls. Breaking from behind of the equation. When that does happen, most likely they will not have 4 balls cross the middle of the table. That will be a foul on the break. So all frames are broken with power, and the playing style is offense. It is just over 40 minutes left on the clock. More than enough time for Dog City to win 3, 4, 5 frames. Take the win, whether or not you can do it. Your guess is as good as mine. Here he goes, trying. Of course, he was playing against a ticking clock. It hampered his concentration. In the end, missed the shot. Now that is the situation where I see ultimate rules as some kind of issue. As long as Ibra, like in this case, played into his own group of balls, it is not a standard foul. It is only loss of turn, and yet a foul it was. The incoming player doesn't have right to lift the cue ball. He plays the white in its resting position. One of those times when it is more beneficial to foul than not to. I just hope that the people who did make those rules could address that situation. I saw it yesterday when Amina Faith Nganda was taking on Rukia Naiga. Rukia continuously fouled, and yet every foul was to her advantage. In the end, Faith was playing a legal shot after the other, lost the frame. Sometimes with one visit you cannot do much. Now Dog City may have to do much if you were to win this frame. Off the cushion, off the red, and doesn't pot. It would have been way better had he potted. Perhaps Ibra could contemplate a combination shot here. He instead plays, now you can see, and Dog City cannot lift the cue ball. Ibra has fouled, Dog City is snookered, and yet he has to play the cue ball in its position. That is where I think ultimate rules did not address the sport rightly. There is a foul, and now it is a standard foul, you can imagine, because Dog City did not play into his own ball. Ibra can have the cue ball anywhere on the bed of the table, anywhere. Like you can see, he has played this frame in the mind, 99% and only 1% in the hands, and he's now highly likely to win it and take himself to the figure 7, get close to the magic figure 8, which will give him the victory. I'm imagining Ibra will play snooker again, hide the white ball behind red, not allow Dog City to have sight of the yellow. Dog City will try to find his yellow off the cushion. If he misses it, Ibra still has opportunity to lift the cue ball again, place it anywhere on the bed of the pool table, and that is anywhere. It's a standard foul again. Ibra lift the cue ball, perhaps place it now towards the bottom end of the table where there is his would be worse looking of all of them 5 reds on the table. Now he needs this big backspin, drawing the cue ball backwards, moving it now towards the right end of the table. Or using the cushion to support its free movement. should be easily now putting the last red to the corner pocket top right. Cue ball bouncing off the cushion at the right, but with left spin such that it moves leftwards just like that. He almost lost the cue ball, but will be okay. Black is rolled to the corner pocket and the frame is won by the killer. Again, it is Ibra now 7 and Dog City 3. 5 frames to go. Dog City must win them all or else drop to the losers bracket, where he's being awaited by Ibra Kayanja and Simon Lobolwa. Now it doesn't come any worse than breaking dry when you are Dog City, when your opponent is leading by 7 frames to 3, when he needs 1 more clearance for him to take the victory, and when your opponent is as good as Ibra. Most likely this one will be an extension of the dominance of Dog City by Ibra, who has been having the lion's share of victories most of the times that these two players have faced off. Dog City's best spell of form against Ibra was perhaps in the year 2023. Yes, it was, when I counted him defeating Ibra 4 times across the year out of the 6 times they faced off, including a final of a comp that was organized at Black Sheep Arena, racing to 9 in the final, Dog City winning by 9 frames to 1. He has, however, played one of his yellows dead, Ibra, touching the one of the Dog City's reds. Dog City will perhaps be looking at the situation around those 2 touching balls, red and yellow, and will be hoping that perhaps he gets another chance to play in the frame. Ibra may want to play the cue ball into the dead yellow, just like that. Its movement is hampered by a red. The ball remains dead. This camera angle indeed shows it touching the red. Still needs a big shot. How on earth do you think you can put the yellow Ibra is looking at and play the cue ball into the dead yellow? That's what he's trying to do. I believe so. Off cushion. Beautiful from the killer. Unfortunately, the resting position of the yellow will not be all that favorable, but there is no shadow of doubt in the beauty and the quality of the shot. Thinking about it, playing too much spin on the cue ball, bouncing it off the cushion and maintaining its movement into the yellow will be nothing short of exceptional. However, he can only make it count if he puts the yellow as well, perhaps off the cushion to the center pocket on the left. Now it is a miss. And the beauty of the game is now the frame will be poised in favor of Dog City. By the way, Dog City will be the team leader. He will be the players leader in the men's category, as long as the team is able to make it to South Africa in Mbombela. Today is the 7th day after application for visas, which was done prior Friday previous week. So by tomorrow, the players' passports will be back to the South African embassy with or without visas. The expectation is that visas will be there. However, I will have to tell you that these players have not yet secured air travel tickets, though they have registered and they have booked accommodation and meals in South Africa. They are finding it difficult to secure air tickets. So just in case you may want to have one of them not miss the ticket, there is a chance they could miss, because the trip is not supposed to be happening this coming Saturday in just about 4 days. They have not yet secured tickets. You may want to sponsor an air ticket for any of the players in your preference. You may have to inbox perhaps the player themselves, perhaps myself, on any of the socials. It can be a player of your choice. If you can't afford for the whole team, no problem. What they need is air travel. There is a foul by Ibra, advantage for Dog City. Putting one red, playing the cue ball into another, which has been the dead red on the table. Now he's going for yet another clearance. Of course, most likely than not, he will. He will want to put the red to the center pocket at the bottom, playing the cue ball into another red, perhaps maybe drawing the cue ball backwards, getting natural white for another red to the same center pocket. Now a little bounce of the cue ball off the cushion will give him natural white for black, just like that. And the frame has been won by Dog City. It has been the most competitive frame in the match, in my opinion. And yes, Dog City does give us opportunity to have more longevity of the match. Ibra 7 and Dog City 4. This is now Ibra breaking, hoping that he makes a ball and hoping that he makes a clearance, which will take him into the semi-finals of his in the winners bracket to match on with 2 lives intact. There he has gotten to make a ball, leaving cue ball so close to a red, and yet he seemingly is contemplating playing the reds. Whether he's able to put one or not, your guess is as good as mine. He may now have to go for the yellows, simply because they are the balls which do provide him an opportunity to make a ball. Perhaps yellow. Yes, it was. It had direct passage to the corner pocket, bottom left. There is a dead yellow on the table, the one that is close to red at the bottom right end of the table. There is a miss. He even came close to scratching. For Dog City, there is an opportunity to play again. He needs still Dog City to win 4 frames in a row in 27.5 minutes left. Dog City has gotten his extension, but even when it's gotten, it is always very brief. He has utilized it quite well, getting to pot a ball before the elapse of 10 more seconds, but has still gotten himself partially snookered. He only has partial sight of one of the reds, the one that is topwards of the two left on the table. Off the cushion, he does find it, but doesn't pot it anyway. There we go, playing the cue ball into the would be bad red, but he will not be fortunate with the final position of red comparison to the cue ball. He is snookered. If he doesn't find it, perhaps it could be his last shot of the match. There goes the ball off the cushion. Seems to be missing the red. He does miss it, puts the cue ball, and maybe waving goodbye. It is a standard foul. Ibra has liberty to place the cue ball anywhere on the bed of the table. When that happens, you don't think he will need more than the single visit of the table to confirm what looks like his pending victory. Here comes the little magician going for glory. Seemingly wants to put it with a simple tap, grants himself cue ball for another yellow to the center pocket, perhaps on the right, perhaps the yellow closer to the black, portable to the corner pocket, bottom right. He has to be wary that he doesn't have as much time as black balls do grant him. Playing those little but very detailed shots that only top players can perfect with ease. The cue ball he's having grants him ease to put two of the yellows, now choosing the one that is portable to the center pocket on the right, which he puts, and perhaps deciding that the yellow near the corner pocket top of the screen could be the one he plays last. And maybe the one that he will play next after this next shot has to bounce the white ball off two cushions. 1, 2, but misses. Dog City's only option is to try and put the red in some kind of way, bounce it off three cushions, try to put it to the center pocket on the left. He goes for a foul. Perhaps the shot is a little bit more technical than not, because at least he has left the cue ball dead. Ibra cannot lift it. It isn't a standard foul. Ibra cannot lift the cue ball. It is now Dog City playing on Ibra's mind, as much as Ibra has been doing for most of the match. And for Ibra, of course, he was always going to play safe, to the effect that Dog City is now snookered, must find the red, or else Ibra will lift the cue ball and take him down once and for all. Here comes Dog City, finds the red, but doesn't pot. You think that Ibra, like Ibra normally does, could have a simple tap of the yellow close to the black with a slide on it, such that cue ball bounces off the cushion on the left. That shot, if played well, will be a snooker. But he seems to be having his mind on potting. I'll be surprised if he puts, and yet he puts. Will he open up the yellow? Yes, he does. He's giving us a very good way in which to sum up the match and how he's finishing the match is clear testament. I am assuming by the way that he's finishing that he has been pretty much the better player in the match. White ball is played neatly by the little magician, who has created a straight line between white, black, and corner pocket top right for him to port black to that same corner pocket and win the frame and then win the match. There he goes. There he wins the frame and wins the match. Gets a round of applause from some of the fans. Dog City does congratulate his friend who has given him some kind of lesson, not just on the table but also in terms of timekeeping. The match ends with victory for Ssejjemba Ibra by 8 frames to 4.